address that now?
Yeah, he got disqualified.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Okay. What I was getting at were challenges for playoff drivers. Obviously, Truex made it very clear that he wasn't thrilled yesterday, and Blaney with this disqualification, which I think is the second driver to get DQ'd in the playoffs. What does this mean? Is Blaney essentially out of it now?
He's must win. He's got to win.
He's must win. I'd make the argument that Blaney and Buescher were probably must win even before this race. As bad as that sounds, I think that somebody was going to put themselves in a situation that they were in a insurmountable hole after this race. I didn't anticipate it was going to be based on a disqualification, but that's how it went down. I think that, if anything, maybe it makes it a little easier because they don't have to worry about points now. They just worry about how do we go out and win the race.
How do we win the race?
And no offense to Ryan, because I think he's a great race car driver. The Penske cars have not shown the speed that they need, in particular at the 1.5 miles, right? And I know he won Charlotte, but obviously, they're pushing the limits on stuff, and they knew they had to.
And talk about them guys being must win. When you get to the round of 8 here, and I saw it firsthand on Saturday with Chandler, we came into the race, we were 11 points out of the cut line, 11 points off the cut line. We ran 2nd and 6th in the 2 stages, 4th in the race, and lost 4 points. It's like, what?
How does this happen?
You see the same thing. You got guys like Danny and Martin getting 40 and 35 points in the race and losing ground, so if you're going to be on it, you have to be on it in this round of 8. You can't just run I shouldn't say mediocre. If you run top 10 in each back half of the top 10 in each stage and finish top 10, you're probably losing points to people in in this round of 8. So you've got to there's no what Martin's done the last 2 rounds of, I'll just skate through with a couple 15th, 16th place finishes, whatever it was. That's not going to work this round.
We have a spot-on topic on exactly what you just said.
Okay,
there.
good, perfect.
No, but it's a good point.
But I know I seen, of course, Martin a little frustrated. That was a questionable pit call for sure. I love James Small. Like, I love that guy to death. But that seemed, and what he was doing was trying to save a set of tires for the end of the race.
Yeah.
But that seemed like a call that would more fit something like we would do, or a non-playoff team that has some speed.
Yeah.
Because
34,
listen,
like
to explain it, we had 8 sets of tires yesterday.
Right.
So you're going to make 6 pit stops. Just I think
naturally
you're going to make 2
6.
per stage, and that leaves you with 2 sets of tires sitting there. I mean, we made 7 pit stops yesterday.
A lot of yellows.
You get a lot of yellows. Now you got to make a decision. The only thing I didn't love about the call was making it to start a stage. I think that we just had. It's like, this is why I say it's a good plan for somebody not in the playoffs, because we had a caution with 15 to go in the second stage. That would have been the time to save a set of tires. I know I'm probably gonna lose a little bit of track position here, but I'm gonna have a set banked, and then, but you start a stage, and then we run out. We saw, it was like 35 laps before somebody had a tire issue. So, you're gonna run out that stage or that run, whatever it is. You don't know how long you're going. So that's obviously where they got way behind. We were racing about 15th. We passed them on that run, and then they never seemed to really. They got back up, and so whatever it was, 8th or 9th. But they never really recovered from that, staying out right there.
Yeah, we put scuff rights on and went back out and lost. The guys that got us all had 4 tires, but we only fell to like 4th or 5th or something like that. But it was those early cautions, I think, put more of a – they definitely mattered because people were – it's like, oh, we used a lot of tires here in the first part of this race. So we tried to save a set for that. We actually had a set left, which probably most guys up front did.
Yeah, we had 1 set left.
Yeah, so.
But they had 2.
As much as it's easy to sit here and say, oh, should have done this, should have done that, I think what, in my mind, when I watched it happen, a couple things. He figured some guys in the back, like you said, were going to stay out and take that same risk, and they didn't. If you get 3 or 4 cars up there as a buffer, you stretch a little bit of a lead. Now, now you don't pay quite as big of a price. Maybe you get to lap 20 before you start losing all those spots. And he did drive out, for a little bit when they were side by side. He got the lead, and it looked okay briefly. The other thing that I'm curious about, and I haven't talked to James obviously, but I'd be curious if he wasn't looking at, Martin seemed like he had been complaining about all day long. The car wouldn't fire off, it wouldn't take off. And I almost wonder if that was the best opportunity to see, okay, maybe it's just because of the air. Maybe if we get out front, maybe our car will fire off and it'll take off great.
Yeah.
and it didn't work. I don't hate trying something. I do think, obviously long runs, he was pretty good on
And the
long runs.
flip side of it, if the race plays out a little different at the end, he's a genius.
Yeah.
That's why I said
different conversation.
it's risky, and I think it's probably a little maybe too risky for what you got going on with your scenario. But
Right.
I was surprised more teams didn't do that, especially at that caution with whatever it was, 12 or 15 to go in the second stage. That more teams didn't say, all right, you know what, if I'm going to ever bank a set of tires, here's the perfect opportunity, because now I know I'm only going to run 15 laps, and then I'll have a set sitting there for late if we get a rash of cautions in that final stage, which we didn't. We only got one or two, I think. But it was a risky play, and I listen, they went for it, and what they did, I think the riskiest play that they've made all year was shaving their beards off, because they haven't run well since. This is the best run they've had since then, I think.
Yeah.
You gotta have a beard. This time of year, you got to have a beard.
They got them now, but they shaved. They play hockey playoff beards, so they went clean shave for Darlington, and then
The beard gods were not
the beard
happy.
gods were they're pretty pissed off apparently.